Hi guys, welcome back to Gym Girls Unfiltered. We have a super special episode today. We wanted to talk all things reverse dieting 101, what it is, what that even means, how to do it the right way, our experiences with it. So this is gonna be a fun episode. But Caroline and Kate, take it away.
Hey guys, me and Caroline are together hanging out in North Carolina just for like 24 hours. So we're coming at you live together.
I
But
love
I
it.
we should start this episode off with like explaining what reverse dieting is because like I feel like a lot of people don't really know what that term is because I mean
Absolutely.
it's like a term you learn in school. So reverse dieting is the phase after a diet that you are slowly and gradually going to increase calories, and that is different for everyone. Like there's no set like number you need to increase by or how fast your reverse diet should like be. Usually a good like rule of thumb is about 50 to 100 calories every week or every other week, and this is where like check-ins with your coach are super important.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
that's a super important part of it too. And I'll let you say what you're gonna say,
no,
Caroline.
I was just gonna say I think
Yeah,
that like it also is like Kate was saying we could talk about just how different it is for lifestyle people and
totally.
for like prep people, and a lot of I feel like my lifestyle clients need a reverse because they have been under eating for so long and they have no idea what it is, and then I explain it and they're very like scared, but they don't understand that they're actually doing more harm to their body than what they should be.
It's so true. And I think it's a really good subject to go over because I think one, it's becoming more popular on social media. And I think it's a strategy that needs to be used at a specific time too and in a specific situation. So I think it is really exciting to get into this. But something really important that Kate touched on too is it's a gradual process and you want to see how your body responds. So we'll go into kind of the specifics too, but I think that's one of the biggest pieces of this is it's not a one size fits all equation. It's not you following somebody else's numbers. It's not you doing what you see people doing on social media, but it's kind of taking these little changes, implementing them and seeing how your body adapts and going from there. But
Yeah, I think a lot of people that aren't like really knowledgeable around like what a diet should look like and then what reverse dieting are, they think that they just do this crash diet and then after the diet's over, they're just going to go back and eat like what they want to eat or like how they were eating before. But
anyway,
when you do a diet and when you're in a caloric deficit for an extended amount of time, your body adapts to that. And as your deficit drops and you sit there for the longer amount of you do, your body gets used to that, and so you can't just like go back and eat what you were eating before. Like you have to gradually work your metabolism up, let your body adapt with the slow gradual increases like we were talking about. And that kind of brings your body up to a state where like your new maintenance calories are higher because you took the time to slowly reverse and take care of
absolutely.
that. And a reverse is great because after you get lean, after you finish your diet and you've lost the weight, your body is in a new state of like where it's lean, you're primed to grow. And if you just like go back to eating whatever you want and gaining a lot of body fat that you can definitely do if you don't reverse properly, your body doesn't grow the same, if that makes sense, because you lose that insulin sensitivity.
That's a big thing too, is like if you've spent this time being strategic in a calorie deficit and you spent all this time to lose weight or body recomp or whatever that is, and you've gone through that successfully, the last thing that you want to do is navigate this post cut phase, whether it's for a bodybuilding prep or whether it's just for body composition goals. The last thing you want to do is screw up this phase because you don't want to put in all this work to cut and then you can't just keep cutting, right? We've talked about that a lot. You don't want to stay in a calorie deficit. Eventually, you got to come back to somewhat of a normalcy. Maybe that looks like getting back to your maintenance, where now maybe you're a lifestyle client, right? Like I've had girls come my way where they want to lose 10, 15 pounds. Okay, you lose the 10, 15 pounds, and then what do you do from there? That's where the reverse diet comes in. And that doesn't mean that you have to shift towards gaining weight again. But a lot of times for lifestyle people, that means reversing back up to your maintenance to where you can maintain that weight loss that you have and be able to fuel your body properly.
Yeah. I think another thing is too, like, oftentimes people think, like, whether you are in prep or lifestyle, that when you do get down to that bottom level of your deficit, that you've reached your goals and you've reached the physique that you want. And so you can just stay there forever and think, okay, this is what my physique is going to stay looking like. But what they don't realize is that once you do reverse back up, that is actually where, like, that process of reversing back up is where your body is able to sustain the progress you did make on that deficit. And say you do ever want to go into a deficit again, it's only going to respond better, and your body composition and physique is only going to look better because it's able to respond to a higher amount of calories that your body can now take in.
Yeah. And I think that there's two ways that that can go too. I think you touched on something super important because you can put in all that work and you're at your deficit. And some people think, oh, if I start increasing my food, that means I'm going to gain weight. And it doesn't, because you're still in a deficit and you're bringing yourself back up to maintenance. So it's kind of shifting that focus and understanding, hey, like, you've changed your habits and you've changed your eating and your activity to be able to lose weight. And now, if you just feel like you're going back, like, if you just continue to do what you were doing before, now you're going to not be happy with like the results that you're having, right? So it's like managing that post cut phase. But what is your experience with this? Like, what does this look like for you guys?
Yeah, I think we all could like give experiences and then maybe like talk
Yeah.
about like expectations, like we wish we would have known or things we've learned, and then like things we tell our clients. But
Yeah.
first with experiences, I kind of have two experiences I want to touch on because I've done two reverse diets in two different phases of my life. The first reverse diet I did, I guided myself through. I didn't know what I was doing, but I think I was like 17 or 18. I lost a bunch of weight in high school, like drastically cut my calories. I'm sure my metabolism was like shot. My like maintenance calories had become like 900, 1,000 calories because of what I sat at for like a year. I think I ended up losing like 40 pounds. So that's when COVID hit. COVID hits, we all go into quarantine. I was like, I'm kind of over this. Like, I just want to stop like watching what I eat. I was still working out, but I just kind of stopped caring so much about my diet and kind of like what my body looked like because it was cold. I was covering up in baggy clothes and we were quarantined. No one was seeing me. So I just like I don't want to say like I just had a binge eating disorder, but I would just eat anything and everything and I had no self control. And I think a lot of that is because like I went from like a super severe restriction to just letting myself have a free for all. And
Yeah.
I didn't know any better. And like I just remember how uncontrolled it felt.
I
So
was
I
going to ask that. Yeah, like, not to interrupt, but do you
yeah.
think that being in that restrictive headspace, because I think that there's probably a lot of viewers that are in a similar position to where you were, do you think that having that structure or going about that differently when you were coming out of that restriction, would that have changed something for you, you feel?
I think so. I think my body was so like so hungry, and I'm such a stubborn person. I can literally just deal with anything.
Yeah.
But I think I finally was just like fed up with it, and I was like, "What's the point of all this?" And
Yeah.
I learned real quick. I learned real quick. Don't do that. But I think if I wouldn't have been so restrictive, I would have looked at things differently. But I
Yeah,
also think a lot of it was just not having the knowledge or guidance and just being
absolutely.
young. And COVID hit, and everybody was like, What the heck?" And
Yeah.
I think it was more of a control thing for me, and like I felt out of control. So that correlated into like my diet because the
Absolutely.
diet was the one thing I could control, and now it's like I can't control anything.
Yeah, it's kind
Um,
of like that spectrum. And it's something I've been telling my clients too, of like learning to live in that gray area, I feel like, because it's like on one side of the spectrum, you're overly restricting, and on the other side of the spectrum, you're completely, throwing everything to the wayward side. I feel like, especially during the holidays. So I think just learning to live in that middle ground is super important.
Yeah, but I gained like 4 months. I gained about like 50 pounds back,
Wow.
and that was the heaviest I've ever been. I was like 160, and I really wonder if like that's what caused all my gut issues, if I'm
Yeah.
being honest, because it was
How
a
long
stress.
ago was that?
It was my senior year in high school, so it was 2020.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like
So almost
summer.
6 years ago.
Mhm. So like
Wow.
going to summer into 2020, that's like when I started having like the horrible acne. I went on Accutane for the first time. I lost my period for the first time. So I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, but looking back at my bodybuilding reverse or post bodybuilding show reverse last July in July 2024, I think. I just remembered that first reverse experience. And I think that's why I was able to like execute my reverse after my bodybuilding show so importantly, because I remembered how lost I felt and how bad I felt and just how mad I was at myself.
Yeah.
But I also think like having a good coach was so important. But because I reversed after my show, I was able to grow so well and we got my food so high because I was able to like slowly build it up. Where like looking back at that bad reverse I had first time, I couldn't like eat
Yeah.
hardly anything without like gaining weight because my body was still stuck at that one number. And once you like gain a bunch of fat like that really rapidly, you mess up something called insulin sensitivity, and your body cannot use like the carbs you're eating. We're like taking a gradual thing, like after a bodybuilding show or a cut, like when you're still lean and you gradually increase your food, your hormones are going to be set up for so much success. And it's not even a physique thing either; it's an internal. It's
Exactly.
important for
It's your
your
health markers. It's how your body is responding. Yeah. And that's why it is so dependent, like you're saying, on each person. It's like if you are to go from your deficit towards straight to a surplus, your body is going to be like, whoa, like what is going on here? So it really is that slow and steady increase that's super important.
Yeah. What are y'all's experiences with your reverse?
So I've like worked with a lifestyle coach and I've went through like a bunch of like bulks, cuts, reverses, but haven't really like been knowledgeable on the topic. I would say it was kind of just like I followed the macros she gave me and didn't really like look into exactly what I was doing. But I will say after my past show in April of 2025, I did my reverse like a textbook, and I am honestly so proud of the way that I did do my reverse because just to kind of add on to it, in my opinion, I think like it all comes down to the mindset that you have. And I told myself, like, if I can go through prep and I can eat on my plan and get this low of calories and, get to this low of weight and step on stage, then I am capable of doing a reverse. And I really think it comes down to just following the plan. And yes, it's going to be hard. And no, it's not going to be easy, but you build in your off season and as you reverse. And like if you're able to step on stage and you can go through that, then I feel like you can't really make an excuse that you can't reverse. Like, yes, it's going to be hard, but like everything is hard. And I
Like you've
really,
committed for 16, 20 weeks at that point. You can
yeah.
commit for another
So,
4 to 8,
and I think that like there is a little bit of leeway that you can have, going out and reversing out of a show, but the more consistent you can be, the better your body's going to be able to respond, especially next time you go on prep and then when you do actually go into a growing season. So my reverse went really smoothly. I was on macros. I did start working with a new coach who I'm currently working with, and now I'm on meal plan. And I'm kind of like switching my goals and switching like my vision for right now just because I am on a health phase. But before, like my reverse was super smooth and I literally followed it to a T and my body responded super well. And I think that's why I am where I'm at today with my body composition, because I didn't just like say F it after I stepped on stage. And I think that like that's what it comes down to is like a mindset. And I have a lot of clients who are like, well, I'm scared to do this, or is this going to work? And at the end of the day, I hate to say it, and like a lot of people might shame me for this, but trust your coach. Like you're hiring them for a reason. Trust them, do what they say, and I promise you're going to look back and be like, wow, I'm so glad I did that reverse properly, rather than eating anything you wanted, blowing up and being like, oh shit, what do I do now? You're kind of screwed.
Something
exactly.
you said, Alani, about it was after something you said, but Alani, you said it's like 4 more weeks. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, but I just was like in prep for 16 weeks. Exactly. You worked so hard to
Exactly.
get to that physique. Do not blow it up in like 1 week.
Yeah.
You owe it to yourself to feel good, to look good. Yeah.
Put in the work for 4 more weeks and you'll be able to get your food up so much higher, and you mentally will be in a better spot because you took that reverse and you took it seriously. A lot of people blow up like a week post show, and I
Yeah.
mean, not even like what it does to them physically internally, but mentally. I just remember mentally in my like first reverse I did when I was speaking on that, I was so upset and mad at myself because
Yeah.
it happened so rapidly.
Yeah. And I think like bouncing off the three of us successfully finally doing a reverse, like, yes, it took time and it's not easy, like I said, but at the end of the day, like, I do have to say, and again, people might shame me for this, but like, you know, you're gonna have to reverse diet after you decide to step on stage. So, like, if you don't think that you can have a successful reverse, I probably honestly wouldn't even start prep to begin with, because it
Totally.
is part of prep and you need to be treating your reverse like you're treating prep. Like, there's no difference. You just happen to not be on stage and eating more food.
The goals just change. It's still something that you deserve to like show up for yourself. It's just a different end goal. And I mean, to build off of what you guys were saying too, I grew up really small. And when I did my first bodybuilding show, which I was 19, I started prep when I was 18. And I remember getting obviously super lean and I followed that reverse diet well. But then it was that I didn't have a goal in mind anymore. And I felt like I kind of went off the deep end. And I had a similar experience. I gained about 40 pounds and I had never seen myself like that. So it was really hard, mentally, physically, like you guys were saying, it takes a toll on not just it's more than just your physique. It's also like you've always told yourself that you're a disciplined person. And then you feel like, oh, what changed and how do I get back there? And then I remember it made my next prep so much harder. And even if you're not a competitor, it makes your next cut so much harder. And I remember, obviously, that was a few seasons ago. And now I think back to this previous season, and I actually just made a story post about this. But same as you guys, I was super diligent in this reverse diet, and it's the best one that I've had so far. That doesn't mean that I didn't have free meals. That doesn't mean that I didn't have flexibility, but I was really structured and really intentional about how I took this reverse diet, and it paid off so well. So my coach was sending me a text and I was talking to you guys about this, but at my first show of the season, my body had stalled. I was sick. I was at 122 pounds. And for me, that's where I am right now. And at that time, in May of this year, I was eating 1,100 calories. Now I'm eating over 2,300 and I'm at the same weight. It is so cool what happens when you can follow a reverse diet and actually like show up for yourself the way that you're supposed to. It's so cool.
I guess that would be an expectation we could kind of touch on is I
Yeah.
think a lot of people, I personally, when I started my reverse diet, I just dropped weight like crazy. And
Yes.
that happens, but also your weight might go up. But think of it like being maybe more food volume, or maybe you're like eat more carbs, so the carbs are going to hold on to water.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad gain, and it's if you lose weight, it's not a bad loss either. It's just
Yeah.
your body losing inflammation and
Yeah.
stress. But you can either expect to like gain weight or lose weight, and neither is like a big
Exactly.
deal. It's
Yeah.
just
Just let
one.
me clarify that too. I'm 10 pounds. If for anybody listening, I don't want to mislead you guys. I'm 10 pounds above my stage weight right now. That was where I was in May, right? But yeah, that's so important. Like, I think that's why it's so important in a reverse diet and honestly in any phase to focus on what you can control and not get hung up on like what your body is looking like because your head is probably going to trick you. Not get too hung up on what the scale is doing, but just focus on like the things that you can control and your food and all of those things and your activity level. And like you guys are saying, not get hung up on the external stuff because your body's going to respond the way it's going to respond.
I also wanted to touch on. I think a lot of people they are like, okay, the diet's over. I'm not going to be hungry anymore, and
Yeah.
that's not the case because when you get like so lean and you've been in a deficit for so long, you have hormones called ghrelin and leptin that are like going to be ravenous and like raged up when you start
Yes.
eating. They're going to be like, oh, your body's going to be like, oh, we're finally eating. Like we need more and more, and those hormones are spiked and they're making you hungry. But hunger is not a bad thing. So don't think just because
Exactly.
you're hungry, you need to go have a feast.
Yeah. And that's something so important too that you touch on where oh shoot, where was I going to go with that? But it's like, oh, when we were touching on being structured, I think not relying on your hunger cues during this time is so important. And if you have structure, whether that's from your coach or something that you've set in place for yourself, stick to your structure, not how you're feeling for this time. Take into factors how you're feeling, but don't over rely on your hunger cues in this time because a lot of times like Kate is saying, it's gonna throw you for a loop because your body is adjusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something else I wanted to touch on, and maybe we could give some tips for like post-show competitors like go into the reverse, because there's some things I want
Mhm.
to touch on. But also, like, when you start reversing, like, you're gonna have to accept your clothes are gonna feel a little bit tighter. That freaked me out so
Yeah.
bad. And I just remember my gym clothes started feeling tighter. I started like just like feeling clothes on me, and I started like seeing less lines in the gym. And instead of focusing on that, focus on the fact, like, is your energy better? Are you feeling stronger? Do you feel like you can go outside and be a normal person and have like a good conversation and not just want to like be mean to everybody?
So
Dude.
true. Like I mean, I've even been in my head, even though this is like the best reverse is gone for me, but it's like I think it's especially with the wedding coming up, there's that pressure of wanting to look a certain way and seeing yourself super lean. And now I'm like, in this past week, I was just talking to Caroline and Kate about this. I'm starting to finally feel like myself again. And like, those are the things that matter. Is like, I've never felt this strong in the gym. I've never had this much energy or this much like social battery. So focusing on those things rather than like how shredded you are. I think how lean you are is probably the least interesting thing about you. It's like your personality, it's your friends, it's all of those things are the things that matter.
Yeah, you can't find your worth in your
Yeah,
body, because
absolutely.
someone that like your best friend does not care. Like Caroline could be like 300 pounds over here and I'd still love her. Or Alana could be like 50 pounds and I'd still love her. It doesn't make me think anything different of them. I just want,
Yeah.
like, you just want the best for your friends.
And I think, honestly, to really bounce off of what Kate just said, the biggest thing that I will admit is social media. When you're seeing these girls who are stage lean on social media and trying to look like them and figure out how to reach that and achieve that, to any of you viewers out there listening, that is not sustainable. What they are going to do is exactly what we are talking about right now. They are going to need to reverse diet and get back up to a sustainable weight and put on body fat at a good percentage and good rate to still keep their body composition. But what they look like and what we looked like on stage is absolutely not sustainable. So when you're seeing these people and trying to achieve their look, I promise you, their body does not love it and they are not in their healthiest state. And that matters a lot more.
Yeah, and a girl on my team that just competed this like 2 weeks ago at nationals or whatever. She got her pro card, and I watched a video that she made today, and she was talking about how someone came up to her in the gym and was like, "Are you still putting on weight? Like, are you going to gain all that weight back?" And guys, that's not like the point. Like, a bodybuilding prep is so extreme. You are getting into like depths where your body should not even be, and like, you have to put weight back on. You have to reverse diet. It is healthy. Being stage lean and walking around like a toothpick and having veins everywhere is not healthy. That is your body like screaming for help, and eventually you're going to crash out. So take the reverse, take it slowly, and take it seriously.
Yeah.
Um, but I thought maybe we could like touch on some like tips for like
That's
body.
exactly what I was going to mention too. And not to like pivot over too much for like lifestyle people, but I think shifting the focus a little bit towards speaking to anybody that's gone through a cut and kind of like what that looks like and what that next step looks like. Like, say right now you've completed your cut and you're like, I don't really know where to go from there. And to not get like too nerdy and into the weeds of the science of nutrition, but what's going to happen is that if you're continuing to be in a deficit, your body weight is going to continue to trend down. When you start introducing that food, your body weight still isn't really going to go up until you hit that maintenance level. So I don't want people to be scared of adding in more food, because you can add in more food and continue to maintain, especially for people. This is mainly for people that have undergone like more of a lifestyle focus, right? Maybe you were wanting to be lean and you did it in a healthy way. You're not stage lean and wanting to maintain that, but you've gone through some fat loss. You're wanting to maintain those results. You can absolutely introduce more food and maintain that amount of leanness if you are healthy, right? So I think what the next steps would look like in a nutshell would be, let's introduce a little bit more food, mainly in the forms of carbs and fats. I would introduce about 50 calories to 100 calories a week, see how your body responds, hold there, and then add a little bit more until you're at your maintenance. And then I would continue with that. But I think that that's kind of like in a nutshell what that would look like. What would you guys add to that?
Yeah, I would say not to like flip back to the bodybuilding side, but I would honestly say like figure out if meal plan or macros work better for you. I think honestly would be a big thing because
Yeah.
I feel like on a reverse diet, like if you do have macros, it can kind of be tricky to feel like you like are struggling to either hit your macros or find what foods to eat. But if you are on a meal plan or able to kind of ask for one just to have that structure, like figure out what works best for you. And just like a reverse diet is not a one size fits all and how to get back up to your maintenance, I feel like the way that you do it and the foods that you eat and the meals that you eat and the amount of times that you eat, I feel like it really does just differ towards everyone.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, in a big nutshell, just trust your coach. Like, you're paying
Yeah.
them for a reason. They know what they're doing. They're knowledgeable on the topic. And again, it's going to be scary, but in the end, it's going to be worth it.
Absolutely. And if you are doing it on your own or whatever it's looking like, what I always say, because that's a great point, Caroline, when people start introducing more food, I think a lot of people think that everything needs to change. And this is something I work through with my clients as well, is like, even me, I'm sticking to majority of the same food sources. I'm just increasing the portion size. So maybe you were having a certain amount of rice or a certain amount of carbs. Now that you're in a reverse diet or you're trying to put on muscle, you don't have to go and change all of your meals. You can just increase the portion size of your carb source, of your fat source, and that's going to keep things really simple.
Yeah, for lifestyle people, I think it's important. Like, if you are doing it on your own, I think the biggest like tool you could use is check-in pictures, but also biofeedback like measures. Like, make yourself a
Yes.
check-in form,
Yep.
and don't focus so much on your hunger. Like, hunger is going to be up most likely.
Yeah. But your
Focus,
strength, like the markers in the gym.
focus on your energy.
Yeah.
Kind of a touchy subject, but what's your like hormones and like your libido like? That doesn't even have to like go like where most people think it is. That's your drive to do anything. Like, do you have motivation to even go to the gym? Do you have motivation to go to work? Um, Chances are, if those are all low, increase your food slowly, like 50, 70 calories, 100, primarily like fats and carbs, like Alani said. Um, if you see your weight spike up, don't freak out. Don't think that you need to not increase your food or like drastically cut calories. I think a good like general rule of thumb, like the first few weeks, like every week increase, and then after that, maybe like every other week, and
Yeah,
just take it day by day. Don't think you have to increase your food
exactly.
just because you're on a reverse diet. Is
Yeah,
so like person independent. But for my bodybuilding people, biggest thing is trust your coach.
totally.
You should have a coach that's going to support you. Have a coach that is going to set you up with a reverse diet plan. Like before you even step on stage, have them go ahead and send it to you so you know exactly what you need to execute on. Have a coach that is going to support you through it. That like if you have a mess up, and that's okay if you have like one night you messed up, that's fine. We're all human, but have a coach that's going to support you and not yell at you and make you feel
Not no
bad.
cookie cutter
Yeah.
plans.
Yeah, no cookie cutter.
Exactly. And that's super important too for, I mean, honestly, any phase, like what you said, Kate, about if your weight spikes or if it drops or anything like that, trying to just not let that deter you and understanding that it's going to take your body some time to adjust, and there are going to be fluctuations. I fluctuate by like 2 to 3 pounds on the day,
Yeah.
right? So just like allowing your body to adjust and take things slow and see how your body responds before making changes. And that goes for anything. Yeah.
Yeah. One more thing I wanted to touch on for bodybuilding people, I think a big tool. I see a lot of people like bringing like bags of stuff to their show, like treats, and that's fine. But don't think you have to eat all those treats in one night. And that's where I see a lot of people mess up is they're
Yeah.
bringing all this stuff and they don't know how to like pace themselves. But
So
they all from like a mindset, like Caroline said, like don't look at it as like an all or nothing mentality. Like food's always going to be there, but like
yeah.
this sensitive state in your body is not. And like all it takes is a couple
It's
days.
so funny. The last thing I wanted when I stepped off stage was a sweet treat. I wanted a freaking water and a fat ass Diet Coke. Like,
Yeah.
I literally, my first show, I shared a Green Bites Go brownie with Carson. We literally shared that. My
Oh,
second show, I
God.
had protein cookie dough, peanut butter, and chocolate chip bites. And then I had some sushi and a burger, and that was it. But like, that was after 2 shows. But I just wanted water and a Diet Coke.
I would say
I
that
unfortunately was not that way. And my first show, I ate to the point where I thought my parents needed to take me to the hospital. It was not good.
I
But
mean,
now, I mean, that's what, 4 years ago. I feel like I've learned a lot since then. And it's so true. And food is abundant and it's going to be there. it's not going to be the last time. Like when you have a free meal, it's not going to be the last time that you ever eat. So I feel like learning that mindfulness is very important.
We're gonna want to feed you post show, but the biggest thing, like Carolyn said, like have that water, because most likely if like your bikini or wellness, it's been a long day for you and you're going on last, and
Yes.
most likely you were dehydrated all day because it's just what you have to do for stage. Have some water, bring a good meal, like bring some protein and some like a
Yeah.
carb.
Something that's
Because
going to make you feel good.
right, you don't want to go into dinner being super hungry, and most of us don't eat a lot of protein on show day because we're filling up with carbs and stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I was feeding into my show, and the last thing I wanted was like a bunch of carbs or anything. And I think that is like a good way to set you up for success. Have like your coach, like talk with your coach, like be like, maybe game plan, we can be ready early, and that way we can reverse into the show. And like,
Yes.
it just, I feel more comfortable going to my reverse from there. Um, but yeah, I only
That's,
had
yeah.
creamy after so I did it
That
really
is so, yeah. That is so true though, because I mean, this was the first year I think ever that I was able to like reverse a little bit into my last show, and you just feel so much better. Like this was the first season where I wasn't craving like sushi or sweets or after, and we just went back and I had like I knew I wanted water. Water was my biggest thing. I packed a diet. What was it? Dr. Pepper Zero strawberry sugar or strawberry
Oh yes, yes,
strawberries
yeah,
and cream. Packed
yeah.
that.
Strawberries and cream.
Didn't
Yeah.
you want fruit too?
Yeah, you had fruit.
Yes,
On
yes.
fruit.
I know that was probably the dehydration too, but
That
like
was-
not having fruit for that long, I was like, please, can I have a fruit salad?
Yeah, you looked great post show because we all were there with you. You had a good sushi dinner, and then we went and had like a little dessert.
That was
But like,
awesome.
Yeah, and then
It
after
took me
you
years
really
to get there, but now
bites.
exactly. No, yeah, that was it took me years to figure that out. But my first two seasons, it was tough after the shows. But now these past 2 years, it's like I think I've shifted my mindset towards like instead of a scarcity mindset around food, I know that that food is always going to be there. So I know, okay, I'm just going to eat what makes me feel good and what I was craving, and then I'm going to get back to it. And I
yeah,
think once you can shift towards that place, it takes time, but it makes it easier.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that we've like really touched on is everyone always wants to think about the physical results and the physical this and physical that, and I really
Yeah.
think that a part of whether you're a lifestyle client or you're a bodybuilder client, the whole entire journey is such a mindset game. Like it really
It
is.
is.
If you don't have a good mindset, like your physical results are not going to show.
yeah,
So true.
yeah.
So true.
There's a time and a place for lots of food and like for growing. And if you want to set yourself up for the most optimal growing phase, take that reverse diet and take it seriously.
Yeah.
Spend the extra 4 weeks like hitting your meal plan, and then heck, your coach is going to add free meals back in. I promise you. Like
That's a big part too, is having that little bit of flexibility. You should be having some flexibility so that you can make it sustainable and not fall off that deep end.
have your dinner out post show, and then have a breakfast out the next day, and then try
Yeah.
your hardest to get back on plan and
Yeah.
not like, I don't want to say ruin, but don't hurt like the physique you made in just one
Exactly.
or a
Like you
whole.
said, you've put so much effort into this. You deserve to continue to show up for yourself. It's just a different end game.
And I want to emphasize the fact it's not just your body and what you look like. It's literally like your health. Like
Yeah.
as someone that has struggled with hormone stuff and is two girls in a gut protocol, I know lots of people that go and don't do a reverse diet, and there they go. They have all these gut issues.
Yeah.
So please, guys, take care of your gut. Take care of your
So
hormones. Don't go to the gut protocol. Don't make yourself go into a gut protocol.
Oh, please, no.
Yeah. Take care of yourself and
Me and Kate are like, what are we gonna eat? What are we gonna eat?
take it from us. But yeah, that was just, I think, a topic we all really wanted to touch on, especially it's like December, all the shows are wrapping up for the year. A lot of girls are going to a reverse diet. And
Yeah.
then we have people probably like kind of like doing a reverse diet like after holidays or something.
Yeah, or wanting to cut in New Year and then go into a reverse diet.
Yeah.
Or for lifestyle people, I mean, oh gosh, like even a lot of my girls that are in a fat loss phase, I talk to them about going through a reverse or at least being at maintenance through the holidays. That way you have more food to work with and you're not like, so I think this is a really good time that a lot of people are starting to eat more, which is a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's so many other like physiological like factors that
Totally.
you guys should look up and listen to like more like scientific podcasts about it. It's actually pretty fascinating.
It is really cool. We're all nerds for this stuff. I love
We
it.
are.
For real.
Aw. Well, anything else? That was a really good episode.
No, I think that's all.
I think that's good. Me and Caroline are gonna go to the store in our pajamas and get a spicy Diet Coke. And I
Oh
think
my
I'll
gosh.
have a dinner date.
Yes. Wait, send me a picture of the Diet Coke you guys get.
Oh, we will.
Will. That's in like 2 seconds.
Are you gonna get a Diet Coke at dinner?
Oh
or you
yeah.
as a
I'll
one?
read it for you guys.
We have to do a Gym Girls Unfiltered cheers or something.
Yes.
Send us a picture of your meal.
I will.
All right.
Right. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. As always, every 5 a.m., we will be launching on every place that you watch your podcast. And I'll see you guys next week.
And thank you guys for 10,000 downloads. Bye, guys.
Bye.